Hi everyone, this is Casey Copeland. This is Module 8, Teacher Evaluation. In recent years, there have been a lot of questions about teacher evaluation and the legality of using test scores and evaluations. There have been several lawsuits filed throughout the U.S. ranging from using test scores to evaluate teachers to putting an evaluation system in place. So let's talk a little about ESA. There was an NEA.org article that we read about Every Student Succeeds Act. So when the Every Student Succeeds Act was passed in December 2015, it changed how teachers could be evaluated. According to the NEA, ESA does not require states to set up teacher evaluation systems based in significant part on student test scores, which was a key component of the U.S. Department of Education's state waiver system. This help ensures teachers are not being evaluated on test scores alone. ESA states that states may design and implement evaluation and support systems that are based in part on academic achievement, which may include student growth and shall include multiple measures of educator performance for other school leaders, such as by developing and disseminating high-quality evaluation tools, developing and providing training to principals, other school leaders, coaches, mentors, and evaluators, developing a system for auditing the quality of evaluation and system support systems. So that's just a little bit about ESA. And then teacher evaluation systems should be developed in partnership with teachers to ensure teacher buy-in. I thought that was really important. Evaluations must be meaningful, providing all teachers with clear and actionable feedback linked to tailored professional development. New or modified evaluation systems should be piloted before the high-stakes personnel decisions are tied to any evaluation system. And then improvement plans and due process rights should be considered when developing an evaluation plan and must align with due process rights of the contract. So that's really important when we're talking about teacher evaluation and how it's changed. It should ensure teacher buy-in. It shouldn't just focus on getting teachers out that aren't performing and just having them with student test scores. And then more about teacher evaluation. Before the 2000s, teacher evaluations were based mostly on teacher observations, some student work, and lesson plans. According to Sawchuk, around 2015, 4 factors went into changing how teachers are evaluated: a wave of new research on teacher quality, interest in boosting teacher effectiveness, efforts by advocacy groups and policymakers to revamp state laws on evaluation, political pressure to dismiss poorly performing teachers. From the articles, we definitely learned that there was a lot where it was just students being teachers being evaluated and just checking things, and a lot of tenured teachers were not being dismissed. So it's important that it was revamped, and it's changed a lot in the less than 20 years. One widely cited paper by Stanford University economist Eric A. Henschwick estimated that the top performing teachers helped students gain more than a grade's worth of learning. Students taught by the worst achieved just half a year of learning. So I think that's really important that we have a whole year of learning by effective teachers when just the less ones are half. An influential 2009 report, TNTP, formerly the New Teacher Project, found that more than 99% of teachers in the 12 districts it studies were ranked satisfactory on evaluations, and the firing of tenured teachers almost never occurred. The analysis suggested that most of the reviews were preferentiary and did not distinguish between skilled and more performing teachers, which is really important that needed to change. Some advocates for changing the evaluation process discussed how better evaluations could help teachers identify strengths and weaknesses. Others focus on removing inefficient teachers as quickly as possible. Grants were offered by both private and federal companies to work on implementing new teacher evaluation systems, which many states took advantage of. The new evaluation systems were more complex, and according to Sawchuk, the inclusion of student test scores was a requirement under the federal initiatives. These new systems included principles principals need to use to ensure teachers are teaching to standards. So it's not just about test scores. When these new evaluation systems were put in place, some states based almost half of teachers' evaluation on student achievement scores, which caused a lot of backlash from teachers and teacher associations. According to Sawchuk, in general, the teachers union highlighted the potential of better evaluations to provide valuable feedback on teacher skills, but they remain weary about connecting the systems to teacher pay and tenure. and adamantly oppose the inclusion of students' standardized test scores in systems. The teachers union cite concerns about the volatility of test scores in systems, the fact that some teachers have far more students with special needs or challenging home circumstances than others, and the potential for teachers facing performance pressure to warp instruction in unproductive ways, such as via test prep. And I feel like that's kind of what we've gone towards in the last several years, where I'm just going to teach the test so that I can get a bonus, or that, or not get knocked down on my teacher evaluation. So it's important that we get away from that. According to Sawchuk, they also argue that it is unfair for teachers and non-tested subjects to be judged by the scores of students they don't even teach, as some states' evaluation systems require. Concerns over the use of test scores and evaluations have fueled more than a dozen lawsuits targeting the new evaluation systems. As of now, there is little evidence showing that these new evaluation systems are benefiting teachers. And according to Sawchuk, for all the energy spent on putting the new systems in place, dividends paid by them aren't yet clear. A few studies do show some preliminary evidence that teachers who receive high-quality feedback subsequently go on to boost student performance. One study on the District of Columbia's impact teacher evaluation system found that teachers on the cusp of dismissal or receiving a bonus generally went on to hold their evaluation scores the following year. So that's, I guess it's fear is a little bit of it, but it is important for teachers to have that feedback so they can see what needs to be fixed. Since teaching evaluation systems vary by district, there will probably continue to be issues that arise in teacher evaluations and how to determine and dismiss teachers who are performing poorly. So the teacher evaluations in my district, every year teachers need to include 3 goals: 1 building goal, 1 professional goal, and 1 student achievement goal. If a teacher will be evaluated that year, they'll need to put it into their goals into 2 teaching platforms: my learning plan and then Talent Ed. Otherwise, all teachers have to put it in my learning plan by September 28th. First and second year teachers have 4 formative evaluations and 2 summative evaluations, 2 formatives and 1 summative each semester. Third and fourth year teachers get 1 formative evaluation and 1 summative. And then 5th year and beyond teachers get 1 formative evaluation and 1 summative every 3 years. When they do evaluate teachers, the principal looks for a variety of teaching characteristics provided by Talent Ed. The principal fills out what is observed on a laptop while observing. So these are some of the characteristics. Demonstrates effective planning for all students. Did they do that? Did they not? Not observed. Develops coherent instruction. Assesses student learning. Demonstrated appropriate instructional skills. Communicates clearly and accurately. Uses questioning and discussion techniques. Engages students in learning. Provides students with feedback. Updates grades in a timely and efficient manner. Establishes a culture of respect in the classroom. Manages the classroom. Delegates appropriate tasks and responsibilities to students. And that's basically on the observations, and that's what's kind of used to look at the summative, and then what's going to be used in evaluation. The principal, there's also a box that on employee responsibilities. This is not necessarily observed in the classroom. It's kind of based on what the principal observes for the teacher PLCs and services and other school activities and kind of what they're doing. Then grows and develops professionally, shows professionalism, communicates effectively about their instructional program. Principal comments on each aspect, uses with characteristics, and provides recommendations as needed, and feedback. When an aspect is not observed, it is noted, and many times the teacher is counted off for it not being observed in the 2 observations. Classroom walkthroughs don't count. It's just the formative and the summative. The only observations, those 2, and then after the summative conference in the spring, the principal talks to the teacher about what areas they're exceeding, meets expectations, and below expectations. The below expectation is usually areas not observed in 2 observations. These evaluations do not affect pay, though. Pay increases based on experience and PDC points, which can be earned with college credit and service time. So then you can move up the pay scale. The evaluations are what principal use to determine if teacher will continue being employed by the school. If If a teacher feels their evaluation is wrong, they can comment on their evaluations before the final evaluation conference. There's like an option where you can put in comments. They can also add in evidence if something's not being shown. Maybe they could add a video. This can be done in talent ed. Teachers, if that doesn't work, teachers have to follow a hierarchy. But if their notes go unheard, the teacher can go to the vice principal and head principal. There's 5 principals at the school I work in. So basically, I have the principal in my academy, and then she's just one of the assistants, and I could go to the vice principal and go to the principal if I feel like it's unfair. If a teacher has a mostly unsatisfactory evaluation, they're placed on probation and are evaluated 4 times a year, as in the first and second year. If they do not approve, they can be let go without a hearing or reason, especially since tenure. There's no tenure anymore, but tenure didn't start until like 3 years. Now it's 5. And a teacher in their 5th year can request a hearing with the Board of Education if they feel they are being let go unjustly. So the court case that I chose was Janet Decker versus USD 262. In 2016, Janet Decker, represented by the KNEA, sued Valley Center School District, which is in Wichita, USD 262, citing that she was let go in 2016 without a due process hearing. She'd worked for the school district for 16 years as gifted program coordinator for Valley Central High School Middle School. She was informed in April of 2016 that her contract would not be renewed. According to Tobias, Valley Center School Board later voted to end Decker's employment after an executive session meeting with the teacher, but without a due process hearing. She stated that even though Kansas had done away with due process of 14, teachers who were in the right before that change are still entitled to protection. She sought the reinstatement of position and back pay for what she would have earned in September, and this court case was dismissed by the Sedgwick County District Court on March 31st, 2017, citing the Kansas State Supreme Court decision that teachers do not have to have due process. So unfortunately, not unfortunately, but the courts backed up the school district, which is what happens. So how would I ensure that I am following legal issues associated with the evaluation process? As a building leader, I would make sure that I was following the evaluation system that was in place, and that the process followed what the Board of Education had negotiated with the teachers union. I would also make sure that all concerns were noted. I would make sure that evaluation processes were not based solely on unfair aspects like student test scores. And I also focus on feedback and desire to teach. Teachers should feel like they can teach what they want because they feel, shouldn't feel like they can teach what they want because they feel protected by how long they have worked in the district. So that's kind of how I would feel with the legal issues, and I definitely would note anything that comes up, and I would follow what has been instituted and what is working and what hasn't been working. Then the desire to teach, I feel like with the tenure thing, a lot of them are, well, I'm just going to keep going and I'm covered by tenure, and since they've done away with that, there's still some issues with that. But I feel like the desire to teach, do they come to their job? Are they here? Are they here to teach? And I feel like that's kind of what I would follow with the legal issues. So that is my module 8, and thank you for watching.